Today's video is coloring this cute little girl. She's by My Favorite Things, and her name is Make Mine a Double. Cute little stamp, couple of phrases that go along with it. I have my pre-stamped image on the Express It blending card, and I am using Memento ink. It works really well. And this is not necessarily a tutorial, it's just sort of a follow along and color with me. So I'm just going to be coloring, and I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing as I go along. I do always like to start out when I'm coloring people. I do like to start out with the skin tone first, unless I'm coloring red. If I'm coloring anything that has red in it, I'll always start out with the red first, because as you've probably learned, red is sort of a stubborn color and it can be a little difficult. So I always start with that one first so I can easily correct mistakes if I need to. Okay, but this one doesn't have any red, so I am starting with my skin tone. And I'm actually starting with E21, which I know is a lot darker than a lot of people do. A lot of people start out with those E00 or E000s. I like to have a little bit darker skin tone. Pretend she's got a little bit of a tan. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some shadows in with E33. So you'll notice I am jumping up from the 2-1 to the 3-3. Because remember, our shadows are a little bit less saturated. Okay. Then I'm just going to quickly kind of blend these two together using my lighter color. I'm using the E21 right now to blend. Now these are pretty simple images. There's not a lot of super detailed areas, and so I don't want to have too much I guess contrast for myself in these images. I like to keep them fairly simple when I color them because I kind of think that's sort of the style of the stamp, and I really sort of like that. So I did the legs. Add a little bit of dark to her arms and her hand. This arm is probably going to get a little too dark because it is so tiny. Go back in with my E21 and blend some more. I'm just kind of pushing that darker color back out to the edges. Lightening it up just a hair. Okay, so I've got my legs and my arms done, and I'll go ahead and do my face. Now you'll notice I didn't color all of the skin all at once. These markers work best wet on wet, so I like to only color in and give a base coat to those areas that I'm going to do right away. Okay, so if I had done the face, that would have dried completely by the time I got to it, so it wouldn't blend as easily. Still doable, just a little more work. I like to make things as easy as possible. Now you notice that when I did her face, I actually covered her hair as well. On this specific image, she's going to have really dark hair. It's going to be dark brown hair, and so that's okay. So I'm just sort of adding some shading in towards the center of her face. Give her a little shadow on her neck. Okay. Come back in and blend that. Now a lot of people don't like to go too dark with their skin. They're used to that vampire white. I actually really like, I've gotten to like a little bit darker skin tones. And if it gets too dark for you, remember you can always go in with the colorless blender and kind of lighten it up. Now if you're going to do this, it's important to know that you don't want to scrub. You actually just want to make very quick kind of feathered strokes, and that way it helps that blend a little bit. Because if you scrub, you're actually going to get a little bit of a hard line. So I've lightened that up just a hair. Right? And I might come back to that and rework it if I want to. Right? And don't worry about her hair area. We're going to do that later.